Hello and welcome to Straight Dude Date Night, a show where two straight dudes go on a date and they review it. My name is David Stallings and I am one of the straight dudes.
I am Ricky Rivera, the other straight dude.
Today we just got back from seeing what I didn't think was going to be the most outrageous movie of the year, considering we just saw Cocaine Bear 2 weeks ago. But this might have topped it, I think, as we just came back from seeing the new movie 65, which no one's heard of.
Yeah. 65 million years ago,
Earth.
a visitor
Crash.
came to Earth. Those are real lines that were on the screen.
That is actual
That's the title
subtitles that show up under the title at the beginning of the movie. Bro, this this was I knew it was going to be goofy. Like every time this trailer came up for every movie we've seen recently, we've always laughed during it, even though it was clearly trying to be suspenseful. I did not expect it to be as ridiculous as it turned out to be.
You know, I think I told you this last week that I want to see it. I know it's going to be bad, but it has dinosaurs. How bad can it be?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the only thing that's carrying this. And I think that's the reason why anybody would see this movie is because they want to see some dinosaurs.
We like dinosaurs.
We got a void in our heart for Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies, whether we like them or not. There was hype to see some dinosaurs.
Well, you in particular, you have a very special place for like the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies, right? Like you love this stuff.
Oh, it's so fun. I love it. I love just seeing the dinosaurs. They come in and they tear people apart. That's the funniest thing.
Right.
But this movie, I was excited for that. And the dinosaurs sucked.
So I'm gonna let people know that I'm considering you the dinosaur expert today. Okay,
Yes.
as we go into our review, I'll give the synopsis real quick. It's very simple, but it's ridiculous. 65 million years ago, when there were dinosaurs walking the earth, Adam Driver was a space pilot for a spaceship that was traveling across the universe for undisclosed reasons. We don't know why he was even there, transporting like 20-some people who were all in cryospace. Gets caught in an asteroid belt. A few asteroids, which you'd think that there's asteroids elsewhere in the universe, but apparently they forgot to put on like the protection system for the ship, and they get stuck in an asteroid belt, and because of that, the ship goes wonky, and it crashes on the nearest planet, which just happens to be Earth,
Which we know nothing about.
And upon landing, all of the like cryo people are gone, and finding the vessels, they're dead. Adam Driver believes he's the only person alive, but finds one chamber with a 9-year-old girl who is still alive, who doesn't speak the same language, which we'll get into a whole bit about that, I'm sure. And as they're basically, he locates the escape vessel from the other half of the main ship. The goal is to get to the escape vessel and get away. Meanwhile, there is a bunch of natural issues like geysers and tar and tiny dog raptors, T-Rexes, caves, and by the way, because they hit a bunch of asteroids, Adam Driver's the reason that an asteroid hit Earth and killed all the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. So that's also about to happen during this day.
Yep.
They get to the escape vessel and they leave. That's the synopsis of this movie. 93 minutes, too long.
Too long, weirdly enough. We kind of always are preaching that movies could just be an hour and a half and be fun. But this movie, I felt like, was too long. I was waiting for the end.
Yeah.
Usually that's you, but this time I was like, oh my God, like this needs to end.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even having fun anymore. This
No.
is just, I want to leave.
There is a significant portion of this movie that is just the two main characters walking through the forest and nothing is happening.
So, let me explain. Like, that's the synopsis. But if you break it down more, they're like, oh, he has to leave because he's going to go on an exploration, an expedition.
At the very beginning.
That's what the wife says to him And it's like, oh, cool. So he like explores planets or something. So this ought to be interesting. We're setting up the plot. Or he is an expedition. I don't know. He flies. Whatever. Look, that's it. That's all we get.
The writers set us up for a very bad ride by not creating a cohesive beginning.
Like, I don't need to know anything. In fact, I appreciated the fact that we opened up on a planet. Adam Driver, we're just getting straight to the point. Adam Driver needs to leave on a ship. We're going somewhere.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We don't have to go into all the details about how the world works or whatever.
Yeah, I don't care about your world. I don't care about all that. Just give me some sort of context on setting up the suspense for the movie on why he's on the ship, and that's it. And say he's going on an expedition. All right, cool. So expedition, I assume we're gonna go like almost like a pirate ship, but for space. Like we're gonna have a crew. We're gonna go explore some planets. We're gonna come back in 2 years.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's just flying a spaceship plane because he has 24 passengers that are all in cryo freeze, and he's the only pilot, which is cool. And he's just, I don't know what he's doing, because when he crash lands, only one survivor's from the ship, and he's like sifting through his little wristwatch thing, and he's like, oh, you're from this planet. Awesome. Cool. First off, why do I have you? Are you a slave? Nope, you're not a slave. Okay, am I taking you back to your planet? I don't know.
We don't know.
Are you coming to my planet? I don't know. I was just going on expeditions.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
There is no clarification for why there were even other people on the ship in the first place.
At least in cryo freeze, like I thought that there was going to be like a crew. And then I thought, okay, well maybe he's just the pilot who flies to the planet and they all come out of cryo freeze so they can limit the resources they need to travel. I thought, okay, that kind of makes sense, whatever. I'm giving too much credit to these writers. But apparently we don't know why.
Well, I was thinking at first, like, the main storyline I've seen of a similar, like, genre is that they're taking people to go colonize something, right? We've found a place, so it's 2 years long. We're gonna cryo freeze them for the process. One person to conserve on resources, like you said. We'll cryo freeze all these people. One person will stay awake and pilot the ship.
Huge brain.
But then we get what the end goal is to drop all these people off, and they're like colonists, basically.
Yeah.
But you can't justify that for this movie, because once the 9-year-old kid is introduced, and you're like, I don't know where you're from. I don't know why you were on my ship. That doesn't make any sense for why you'd have them in a group of people going to colonize a place, because they need to be like a tight-knit community if you're going to do that. Yeah. So I don't know what the goal was.
And she doesn't know my language.
I don't know what the goal of Adam Driver's job was for this. I do think he was basically the space equivalent of an airplane pilot.
Yeah.
I think that's all he was.
Yeah, like I really overlooked this. Like I feel like I was really hung up on this, but they really overlooked, like, because the only reason that bothers me is, why is there the language barrier? Why did we write in the language barrier? Why? Oh, because we don't know how to write good dialogue. I think that's genuinely the problem here.
I do too.
I think the writers, here's the thing, these writers, this is the one thing we kept seeing in the trailers that they kept accrediting to make this movie a credible film, was, these are the writers from A Quiet Place, a movie with 10 lines in it.
And they're all very simple.
Very minimal dialogue.
One line is "I love you."
Yeah, which, granted, I love A Quiet Place.
It's fantastic.
I think the movie's amazing. But when I think about it, I don't think, wow, the movie's written very well. I think the cinematography is amazing. I think they directed it beautifully, and I think the acting's amazing.
Yes.
There was no lines. That had to be the easiest movie to write. I understand you write in the suspense scenes and all that, but you did not create the suspense. You just write insert suspense here, and then I do the rest.
You're right.
So we can't be using them as a credible source.
Right.
Second, it's the only movie they've ever written that we know. The other stuff they've written is just like short films or whatever.
Yeah.
So we don't get to live off of that.
Yeah. For clarification as well, we did go and look this up.
We looked
up these two writers. Their names are Scott Beck and Brian Woods. They're a tag team duo. Their biggest credit is A Quiet Place, and that's the reason that
we gave them director privileges for
that. We're giving them anything right now.
Full reign of this movie.
Because with A Quiet Place, everyone's going into it like, yeah, the concept of it is to be quiet. It's a thriller. It's a suspenseful movie. Like, we get it. So we're fine with no dialogue. And even then, there was some through the sign language. But with this movie...
We didn't write that.
Yeah, we didn't write that. But with 65, there's still, like... That's not the same concept.
Yeah.
There's going to be dialogue in this one. But so they decided to throw in the issue of... Oh, the other main character, I can't communicate with them. So now there's the only dialogue in the movie really is Adam Driver attempting to talk to this girl.
Yep.
Who has no idea what he's saying. And it's very limited.
Yes.
Yeah. As they're walking through the forest, they are just quiet the whole time. They're looking at each other. They're making indications of like, be quiet or whatever. And that's it.
Yeah, and I love, too, they even addressed the problem where he's like, my translator's busted. I broke my translator. It's a totally separate device than this cool wrist tablet that I have that can, let's see, it can scan 10x million into space and see what planet I'm looking at from sitting here on Earth.
Yeah, that part's not broken.
I can actually terraform this whole entire planet through this tablet. So I can figure out 6 different ways out of this caved system.
I can also find I can see the glimmer of the other half of my ship, and it can analyze the terrain around me and give me the exact coordinates and distance from right here to the ship.
I can translate. I can shoot messages back to my planet from this thing.
Yep. I can send out the distress signals. Yep. I can play the cool holograms of my daughter. That
I can project.
I can do everything on it, but oopsie, the little knob for the translator device part of it
doesn't go all the way.
That one part in particular, it actually got a little bit of goo on it, and I can't use that.
Yep, can't use that. Sorry.
Maybe if I tried anything, I mean, maybe the device could fix itself. We learn later on that some of the technology they have is self-repairing. Why can't your tablet do that?
Yeah, my ship can self-repair. But I don't have Google Translate on here. Which is crazy because I'm transporting a ship full of people who speak a completely different language. Granted, they are in hypofreeze or cryofreeze or whatever. Somehow they boarded the ship, right? He had to have been around when they boarded.
But
there's no way he just went off, got a cup of coffee, had a sandwich, got back on the ship, let somebody else load it.
I just can't fathom like with a sci-fi movie too, there's gonna be the suspension of disbelief throughout it.
And I was trying to give him that.
Okay, cool, whatever, and just like when what you said at the beginning of the movie, they don't clarify anything. They're very clearly just trying to get the movie going. But the more you do that of like randomly justifying stuff, but I can do a million things with this one device. A critical component that I know it has, that one part is not working in order to justify not having to talk to the other main character. That's dumb. As the audience, you can see that. You can see the play there, and you go, that's dumb. That should not happen if everything else on the device is working perfectly. And it gets thrown around the whole movie.
Oh my God.
Never breaks.
Yeah. The dude, I mean, he gets thrown. He crashed. He gets blown up. He gets everything to him.
Yeah.
But no, that device, unbreakable.
Unbreakable, bro.
Except for the part where it translates. That part's broken.
Yep. That single... I mean, I feel like we'll get fixated on this forever, but bro, it's so. If people go see this movie, they're gonna be just as frustrated with this.
I could even on my tablet, I could even see this girl's name, her family, her bloodline, where she's from.
Yep.
Can't translate. I could see the language she speaks. Can't translate.
Maybe there's a dictionary for me to access on it, and I could try something. Maybe it has little lessons on their language for me to try and do basic translation, so I could say something to her about like danger or anything like that. Nope, I can't.
The thing has a whole UAV in it. Did you see that? It was like he was like looking at it to see where the dinosaurs were around him.
Yep,
which was hype.
Yeah, that was sick.
Couldn't translate though.
Can't translate.
I just thought that was so crazy.
The more capabilities, it becomes so laughable. The more like the more the device can do, and then you remember, but it can't translate. That's such a bummer, man.
Yeah, with sci-fi, you really got to give them that element of disbelief, and I was doing that a lot. I mean, the whole idea in general is a whole thing of disbelief, which is cool. But I was just like, I felt like this was unnecessary. The fact that we can't communicate to each other.
Yeah,
that felt really unnecessary. It felt like I can't. That was the other thing too. I couldn't bond well enough to care about either character.
I didn't care about either of them.
I didn't learn really anything. The only thing I learned about Adam Driver is he was doing this mission for his daughter, and then his daughter passed away while he was on the mission, which sucks. But now I'm like, well, he's got nothing to return for. Her family is quite literally dead. We've confirmed it.
Yeah.
I don't care about either of them, truly. Like, I thought if one of these guys dies right now, I'd be like, dang, that sucks.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the best ending would have been they just die on the planet. That'd have been awesome. That would have been. I probably would have been like, wow, that was a really sad ending.
I mean, there was a certain point in this movie. I think I was laughing the loudest in the theater because there is a certain point where it's so absurd how bad everything is going. And, like, Murphy's Law, right? If something can go wrong, it will go wrong. Yeah. Pretty sure that's it, right? Like, everything just kept going wrong. And in the last, like, big fight, there's a T-Rex trying to eat the escape ship that they're trying to escape on. And then, oh, wouldn't you know, stealthily in the corner was T-Rex number 2. And it's like, oh, God, of course. Of course there's another one. And then after killing both of them, in the other corner, stealthily, was T-Rex number 3.
The T-Rex we saw earlier.
That he shot in the eye, and now it's still there. And then now that one's gone. And oh no, things are still getting bad because the asteroid is coming. Like, I would have laughed at the ending if they did die during it. Like, of course they died during this. This was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was just so silly. I was like, what is happening here?
The last 20 minutes were the best comedy that I could have seen in a movie recently. Like, it was so funny, and it was not supposed to be at all.
Oh no, we were laughing, and I think like we weren't supposed to. It took itself very serious.
Yeah, this was a movie that took itself serious. I feel like you can draw a lot of like comparisons to Cocaine Bear from this movie, right?
Yeah,
we talked about it. Cocaine Bear, which we'll probably spoil that now. Maybe, I don't know. Who cares? Cocaine Bear was straight up like, this is dumb. This is all dumb, and it's going to be ridiculous, and we're going to have fun with it. That's what this movie should have been with what they gave to us. But no, it was very clearly trying to be an intense, emotional thriller, except you didn't feel the intensity, you didn't feel any emotion, and it wasn't thrilling at all. You were laughing the whole time.
Yeah, this movie felt like, and if I don't know any better way to explain it, so if you don't understand it as a viewer, I'm so sorry, but it's the only way I understand. I know how to explain in this movie what it feels like. It feels like it was made in like the mid 2000s. Like it just came out in the string of movies where Hollywood was just putting out movie after movie after movie, and who cares what the concept was? It's very mediocre. There's like a high B-list celebrity in it. Go watch it. It felt like those just string of movies. Yeah. And here we are in 2023. We're still trying to do that.
Well,
I think it was not great.
I think it's an indication that I think this is an indication that we are officially past the era of, I mean, we've been past it for a while, but this movie signifies that we are officially past the era of pandemic Hollywood, where now they're doing so much again that they're able to put out whatever garbage they want. Yeah. Again. That's what this feels like to me. Oh, okay, cool. We're getting all the content again in theaters. Great, cool.
I just don't understand it though. Like that, I'm amazed. We looked it up. This movie had a $91 million budget, which is insane.
And the whole time you and I were like, this couldn't have been more than like 10 million.
No, there's no way.
That's how bad this movie was.
I was guessing like a 50 mil. I was like, this is probably got like a really good $50 million budget. Like, I understand you got to pay people, but there's 4 or 5 actors in this whole movie, and one of them is Adam Driver, and the other 4 I couldn't tell you a single thing they were in. And it isn't in disrespect. It's just the facts that we have one dude who was in Star Wars, which probably demands a decent amount of money.
Yeah, he's a big-ish name now,
but he's definitely but even then, he's not like A-lister.
No, he doesn't drive people to the movies like other celebrities do, but he's big enough. Everyone knows Adam Driver now.
You could tell your grandma Adam Driver, and she may be confused. And if you say he was in that new Star Wars, she may go, "Oh, the new Darth Vader."
Mm-hmm.
You'll think, "Yeah, that's the one."
Yeah,
sure. She kind of knows who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Would not be able to guess a single person that besides him.
Yeah.
So, like, but the CGI just, I don't know. The dinosaurs just didn't even look that great.
All of the money had to have gone to the dinosaurs because
the whole tablet,
or like dealing with anything with space and building the spaceship and everything for the VFX, and built the tablet that he has and all that. Like, all of the money had to have gone to that, and the dinosaurs looked so stupid. They all looked ridiculous. And oh my gosh, it was so funny. Like, they're trying to create suspense by having these little tiny velociraptors, which couldn't be larger than like a chicken.
Yeah.
Being the ones that suddenly jump out of the forest, and every time it's just hilarious seeing this ridiculously fleshy looking creature, this big chicken, jump out of the woods at Adam Driver, try to bite them, and then Adam Driver elbows it and it dies.
Yeah, I just
even, oh my gosh, even there was a moment early on in the movie I just remembered where the two main characters, they find a big shell dinosaur. It's a baby and it's stuck in a pit of tar, and the 9-year-old girl starts crying. We have to get it out. She can't say that because she speaks a different language, but she starts crying, goes over to it. We got to get it out. Adam Driver's like, okay, fine. We'll help it real quick. And they lift out this big shell dinosaur that looks like Littlefoot from Land Before Time.
Yep.
It starts walking 20 feet ahead, and it's got a big smile on its face, and then 5 of these chicken raptors jump out of the woods stealthily on top of it, kill him immediately, and they just walk away.
And she just starts like crying. She's like, no! And it's like, dude, what? Like,
and it was so funny. It was ridiculously funny. That whole moment, and that was their first attempt at trying to create a situation where, like, maybe the two main characters will bond over the trauma of how terrible this world is. But for us, I laughed so hard at that part.
It was so silly. I mean, man, like, the tablet thing, between the tablet and how silly the dinosaurs were, I was just like, none of this is adding up.
Yep.
The dinosaurs looked goofy, bro. Like, that dinosaur you're referring to looked so goofy.
Its eyes were massive, and it did have like a big weird face on it, like big weird smile on it for some reason.
I feel like the velociraptors, like, were inconsistent in size. Did you notice that too? It was like they were tiny right there, but then when they're in the cave, they were like the size of him.
Well, I think the one in the cave, which was arguably the best scene in the movie, not the action, but the cave situation, I think the one he was fighting in the cave was supposed to be a different type of creature.
It's hard to tell. That was the other thing with this movie is, like, every time they did VFX, it was just dark.
Yeah.
Which I understand. That makes it a little bit easier to do the VFX. Like, I get that. That makes it's easier to do.
Yeah.
But, man, it was, like, hard to see sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, the final dinosaur we see, I was like, what am I looking at? Is it missing an eye? Okay, it is missing an eye. It just looks like
Is he on all fours? I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like a big blob.
Yeah.
At first. Like, it's just so hard to tell. And it's like, man, like, for $91 million, that could have looked a lot better.
And to note, filming wrapped on this movie. This movie stopped filming February 2021. They had all the footage done. So that means they had over 2 years that they were producing it and getting the VFX done. They had enough time to do it, and what they put out was garbage. It was the amount of time that they had to make this movie, ridiculous. And they put out just the worst idea of dinosaurs I could have ever conceived of.
I mean, even in, like, Jurassic Park, the dinosaurs, most of the time they look really good. But, man, like, that was the thing with Jurassic Park was it was serious, but at times it didn't, because it was like the idea itself was very self-aware that, like, no, we're going to build a theme park for dinosaurs, duh.
Yeah,
of course. Then there's, like, people who are like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
and then you're like, not worried about things going wrong.
It's gonna make money. Nope,
it's gonna make money.
Nope. But that was kind of like the charm of Jurassic Park. For this movie, they saw that and they were like, dude, we can make that scarier. Like, we could try to make that way scarier. And they failed.
They failed miserably.
Why? Because it's a dinosaur, bro. I'm never going to be able to take dinosaurs into like a serious, real, like scary threat like that. Like Jurassic Park, they even had scenes where they tried to make it scary. And I was scared.
Yeah.
But, like, it's never going to be, like, a slasher or, you know, one of those types of scares for me. Yeah. So don't try to get the jump scares in there.
Well, I think what was a bit ridiculous about this, too, with the dinosaurs, was for some reason they decided that it would be a good idea to make every living creature super stealthy, including T-Rexes, like the massive Godzilla dinosaurs. For some reason, don't make a single sound anywhere. We do get to see trees falling over in the distance, but the thing doing that doesn't make any sound.
Nope. They're so quiet.
They just show up. They just show up out of nowhere. They fit everywhere, and they emerge from the shadows, and then they start making sound. What?
Also, my tablet can scan everything that's around me, so why has my tablet not told me enemy incoming? I could see an asteroid millions of miles away heading towards Earth.
Yeah.
But I cannot tell if there's a random thing of life nearby.
Yep. You can have the suspension of disbelief with the sci-fi genre, but the more, or in movies in general, but the more you decide to make ridiculous claims or show ridiculous things in the movie, the audience is not going to care anymore. And we didn't.
Yeah.
Everyone was laughing by the end. It was insanity.
Well, they make like this tablet have like god tier powers.
The tablet was insane.
Except for like the few convenient things we needed to build suspense. It could see asteroids millions of miles away. It could navigate us through a whole tunnel system. Oh shoot! But I can't tell you if there's somebody nearby.
Yep,
I just can't do that. That's not something I'm capable of doing.
No, I'm from the most advanced civilization ever, and I'm sorry, I didn't prepare for this.
Did you just hit the button to scan the area? Oh yeah, there's a T-Rex right there. In fact, let me animate it coming near you, and then I'll animate your guys' fight because I can detect anything around you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, but I didn't tell you about that T-Rex that was behind you.
I forgot.
It's like 10 times your size, and I just could not pick that thing up.
Yeah.
But let me animate you fighting it. That'd be cool.
That'll be a cool moment.
That'd be a really cool moment.
We're not going to worry, but I'm not going to do this ever again, though.
They did that. They holograph fight on the tablet.
Yep.
Sorry, I couldn't warn you, though, that it was coming. I'm sorry about that, man.
I couldn't have scanned the whole cave system like I did earlier. Told you there's life forms in here.
Nope.
Now, to be fair,
but you know what? I can analyze the berries, and I could tell you that those aren't edible.
The berries are bad.
Yeah, I can actually identify that food, the way molecules work and food works on other planets. I could tell you right now, you're not gonna be able to digest that.
Yeah, can't do it. Can't do it.
What did she say? I don't know, man. She's talking words, but that's foreign to me. I can understand the food of this planet.
I've never had to deal with other languages before. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've dealt with Earth berries, but little girls from your planet, nope, can't understand the words she said.
We didn't think about that. The creators didn't think about that. You know, it didn't matter to them.
I just thought that was so silly that it could identify those things, but it couldn't friggin' translate.
Now, to be fair, one of the things that actually was terrifying to me were the bugs. The bugs.
Yeah, the bugs were gross.
They were bad. There's one scene in particular that I think is going to haunt me for the rest of my life, which is the two main characters are sleeping in a cave, and Adam Driver wakes up because the little alarm system that they do have starts going off, and then when he goes over to the 9-year-old girl, she's like drooling profuse, not like sleep drool, but like some kind of liquid is coming out of her mouth, and when he opens her mouth, there's like a big long bug. Mouth, bro.
Ooh, that was moment, so gross.
That moment, I wanted to crawl out of my skin. That was
disgusting.
But to be fair,
It was like a worm.
It was a big worm with big teeth that was inside of her.
That was disgusting.
That was the worst moment. But to be fair, I think it was the best moment because it's the only moment of the movie that made me like interested, and it had the correct effect on me.
Yeah.
Like the VFX in that moment looked good, and the terror of that moment really set in. That concept is horrifying. In real life too.
Oh, a bug in your mouth? Yeah, that's
A bug in your mouth. I binge watched 5 or 6 seasons of Survivor recently, and one of the seasons, first or second episode, a girl has been on the island for like 5 days so far. Wakes up and she can feel that there's a bug that crawled in her ear in real life, and she dealt with it for a whole night, and she wanted to die, and I wanted to die watching it. It was horrifying.
So gross.
And then eventually, there's a moment where, bro, this was talk about Survivor real quick. There's literally a cameraman that's watching the bug go in her ear. Watching it go in, and it's just like, I could say something. There's a guy there with a camera. I could say something right now. I could stop this horrible thing that's going to happen.
But then the producer that put the bug right there is going to be really mad at me.
And the content. Think about the content that we're going to be missing because of this.
Not allowed to intervene.
And that poor woman has to go a whole day just crying the whole time because she can feel the bug in her ear. And has to get help from the other members of the tribe to get it out. Awful moment. So that moment of this movie, good moment.
Yeah,
it hit me right, even though I hated it.
That was gross. That was disgusting. I've got to say too, it kind of made me confused almost. But Adam Driver as a survivalist was great. Why? He was an ex-Marine, so like this dude, he played the role of being a survivalist well. Mm-hmm. The only counter I have is he's a freaking cruise ship pilot. Like, how does he know how to survive and use all these weapons and everything? Whatever. So you use the disbelief.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The justification of whatever his job was. Because if he's an explorer, that makes sense. But then why do I have a bunch of people with me? That's odd. But if he's a pilot, that makes sense of why he has a ton of people. But then why does he know how to survive and use the gun so well? Those two, both directions don't add up.
Like, he was really good as a survivalist. Like, but that was just like genuinely real life Adam Driver.
Adam Driver,
it's just something he literally did IRL. Like,
top of his intelligence, he knows how to do that, so he knows how to act it as well.
Yeah, the man's ex-Marine, so he knows what he's doing there.
I will say I am disappointed with what we saw of him today.
Yes.
There's only one scene that's like emotional that kind of hits you, and we mentioned it earlier. It's a cave scene where he gets trapped. Him and the girl get trapped in different areas of this cave. Very claustrophobic cave. I did not like the cave. And he just starts screaming because it's basically like he's just died. And starts screaming and trying to call out for the girl, and he can't hear her, and
he thought she got crushed. It
yeah,
was it was like something out of he took this girl under his wing, like it was like The Last of Us, you know?
Yeah,
lost his real daughter, so he's found a new daughter.
Yeah,
type of situation.
And that moment, you're like, wow, he's really into it. But then the rest of this movie, like, I don't know what it was, but both of the main characters, there's so much going on. Their lives are on the line the whole movie. You're on a random planet, and it's clearly hostile towards you with creatures that the gun may not be able to kill. We saw the T-Rex. But then the level of urgency in the movie is just not there. Neither of the characters care about, like, we need to leave now. There's a bunch of dinosaurs. The place is hostile. We're going to run out of resources, too. And there's an asteroid coming. There's so much on the line. I couldn't be bothered.
I'm going to save this dinosaur from this tar pit that I don't know anything about the creature.
Yeah.
But man, it needs my help.
Like,
we've interacted with one of these things. Terrifying. Let's go save one.
Let's go save one. Like, I didn't believe, I don't want to like hate on, or not hate, but like analyze the child's acting that much, because she's a kid in real life. Like, she'll do great later on. But Adam Driver's character, like, going in to help her, that's the wrong reaction in that moment. it's a big dinosaur. It's a big creature I've never seen before. We've already been attacked by a ton of these things. What makes you think this one's going to be better to you? Go over to the kid and grab her. And we're leaving.
I really do think that I think they were just set up for failure. It's what it felt like.
Yes.
I feel like Adam Driver and the little girl, like, it's not that they were bad acting. It's just that they didn't really have the scenes to shine. Like, again, there's no dialogue, so I really am not sold on anything they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like Adam Driver, like he's just doing the best he can, but he might as well have just been talking to nothing the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like it probably would have been more entertaining if he was by himself. Honestly.
Yeah.
I probably would have thought I probably would have thought better of his acting and everything in this if he was just by himself.
Yeah.
Just keep his real daughter alive, and that's his motivation to get off this planet.
Yeah.
That's more motivating than him trying to save this random girl that he can't even communicate with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. That's just what I was thinking the whole time. Like, I probably would have enjoyed this movie more if he was a solo.
I 100% agree with you. I think the concept of just throwing in another person that I can't communicate with, yes, at first it does create a bit of stress in the situation, but then there's some scenes where he's talking normally to her and she gets the gist of what he's saying, and the stress of the language barriers is gone there too. But then we don't have much communication in general. I think that you're right. This movie would have been way better if it was just him or one of the kid's parents survived.
Yeah, I could see that.
One of those two situations, I think, would have drastically improved this movie. Because then there's higher stakes, too.
Higher stakes. We save, and then maybe Adam Driver gives his life to save them.
Yeah. So if, like, one of the parents survived, now there's, like, that whole... And maybe there's not a language barrier with the parent then, if they still want a language barrier happening.
There's 2 seats on the escape pod. There's 3 of us.
Yeah.
Situation, you know?
Yeah. Or, like, in general, we get to see the stakes of a parent trying to protect their kid right now versus a parent trying to survive to get back to their kid back home, which are both equally emotional and difficult situations, and we would see both of them play out at the same time. I think that could have been great.
Both their motivations to go home, sadly, are both gone. Mm-hmm. Well, and the other thing too is like they were trying to go with. I understand what the angle they were doing. They were trying to go for a like father figure, let me be your father figure type. The problem with that is they don't speak the same language. So, like she thinks her parents are alive the whole time because he can't tell her that they're dead. Mm-hmm. And then he's lying to her about it, but it doesn't freaking matter that he's lying to her because she can't understand it. What was the point of even lying? Mm-hmm. Like, she can't understand you anyway. It's not like it would have fixed anything. Yeah. So, like, they just, like, I don't know. If they had spoke the same language, that probably would have been the only saving grace in this. Mm-hmm. Besides, like, our own ideas. But, like, if they had just spoke the same language, then we could have at least seen, like, oh, she reminds him of his daughter. Mm-hmm. Like, the way she talks or whatever, the way she acts. But it's like, she is nothing like his daughter from the scenes we see. Yeah. The daughter, his real daughter, is the best acting in the whole movie.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. There's a whole montage of like video clips that his daughter has been sending to him as the expedition has gone on. And they show a bunch of them quickly at one point, and the range that this teenager has to go through from like super excited, happy to like crying in one and then being like that girl was great. Yep. But that was the only like emotional depth in the whole movie.
Only emotional depth was from that daughter. And to be fair, she did great. I was looking up her name. Her name is Chloe Coleman. And
what's the name of the 9-year-old so we stop calling her the little girl?
Ariana Greenblatt.
Ariana and... What did you just say? The other
Chloe Coleman.
Ariana and Chloe. Okay.
Which, funny enough, Chloe is actually younger than the new daughter.
Like in real life?
Which is funny because she looks like 5 years older than her.
Yeah, that girl looks way older than.
But she's been in things with like Avatar. She's been in Avatar.
Yo.
Young Loak. I couldn't tell you who that is.
Some random name and you just okay,
she's been a part of like, but she's had some movies here behind her that she's done. She was the daughter in My Spy, Dave Bautista, another one of those movies. She was in Henry Danger. She's been in some childhood acting stuff. Mm-hmm. So that makes sense why she has a little bit of depth in her. Yeah. The other girl, Ariana Greenblatt. Yeah, she's been in a few things. She's young Gamora. That's about it.
Oh,
Remember
okay.
that from Endgame?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
she gets the knife and she holds it.
What did it cost?
What did it cost?
Everything. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember her.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a claim to fame. Good job. Again, with the kid actors, it's kind of like I feel like a jerk if I try to analyze it too much. I only want to try and give them praise during it because in general, it's like, okay, you'll learn more later.
She was fine. She was fine. It's not her fault. Like,
it's not her fault. I really think it's the writers.
They just wrote her in poorly.
Yeah.
Like she acted what she was told to do as well as she could.
Yeah.
But it's not her fault that it looked bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they just set her up for failure, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, bro. I knew it was going to be bad. I was not expecting this to be as laughable as it turned out to be. Like, I will recommend this movie to people only on the basis of, like, this is the kind of movie that is so bad, you gotta see it. It's ridiculous. It's 2023. How did this come out as a sci-fi movie? We have so many amazing sci-fi and VFX-based movies now, and then they with $91 million, they put out this.
I'm telling you, this felt like a movie that came out in 2005 on the Sci-Fi Channel.
That's a great way to put it. It's so bad. And for a movie that was 93 minutes, too long.
Oh my gosh.
That's a really bad indicator. We're like 20 minutes in and I'm already like, this is boring.
This is probably the second movie where I thought, like, I could leave. I could go home. I don't really need to leave. I was like so just uninvested.
I don't know if I could have left this one because it sucked me in with how we haven't even talked about this. The one scene that I was like, I gotta see this all the way through. I'm so into it now. Was the second like big dangerous dinosaur encounter. This was the first time the gun got brought out, and in that moment, Adam Driver had just dislocated his shoulder after falling down a tree, hype. And then there's a bunch of dinosaurs, and you think for a moment that
I don't know what those like lizards.
For a moment, they kind of look from the distance. They kind of look like the chicken raptors, and you're like, okay, so it's just a herd of them. But then they get closer, and you're like, these are longer, and they're on all fours. These are interesting, and then they show them, and if you could imagine the most thin man that you could ever meet in real life, the most thin human man, just on all fours with a big tail, and just like I didn't know how to put it. I told you in the theater, I'm like, they look like pervert dinosaurs.
They're like seductive lizards.
Yeah, they were so odd about it. Like the whole time, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna tempt you for. It's like
I'm gonna chew you up. I'm gonna eat your bones.
They're the kind of I have a very weird memory that just popped up on my head. That's exactly what these creatures are. There was this weird like Bible movie I watched when I was like 3 or 4 years old, and it was about Adam and Eve in the garden.
Yeah.
And then there's a point where the snake that is the devil shows up, but it's like standing up and it's got like shades. It's got shades on and it's standing up, and it's like, it looks more like a small dragon, and it's like, hey, have you seen that apple over there? Like, it's so, I remember it, it was so bizarre to me. That's exactly what these guys looked like.
Yeah, they were weird.
They were so
I'm pretty
bizarre.
sure I heard them snapping. Like, they were just kind of like, hey, I heard little like jazz playing in the back, like a doom, doom,
hey,
doom,
I
doom,
see
doom, doom,
that
doom.
you broke your shoulder there.
Come eat you up. Gobble,
You
gobble,
look
gobble.
like some good old prey.
I've never seen your type around here. Doom, doom, doom.
That scene, that was like the halfway point of this movie, and during that, I'm like, I gotta see this. We're not leaving. I have to see this all the way through, bro.
Dude, and then Adam Driver, he busts his shoulder back into place, immediately army rolls over on one knee. Pew, 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 pew. Like, insane. It was insane. It was insane. Like, in no pain. He gets beat up.
I've seen like shoulder dislocations before and heard about them. Like, yeah, it feels better when you put it back in. You're not in like great shape afterwards still. Like, but as soon as it gets locked back in,
like, he was right back in it, baby.
Back to Terminator mode.
I was like, oh, that's epic. All right, cool. I like it. It was cool action.
Yeah, that was the best part of the movie. Was the pervert snakes.
Lizard.
Because even with like the finale of that scene was two of these creatures had cornered the girl and were about to eat her. And in that moment, they just straight up like, they just started walking up towards her and just like, yeah, I'm going to eat you. And got like super close to her. And they're animals. What is it doing? Eat her. Yeah. Jump on her. Eat her.
That's the thing with like Jurassic Park is they just like full scent their dinosaurs. Like they'd kind of like creepily sneak up to like analyze their prey and then they'd full speed. These dinosaurs always analyzing.
Yeah. I don't
stop analyzing.
I don't know how you make a movie like this and you with dinosaurs and you're like, yeah, they're super intelligent. Trust me, bro. I know they're just big old animals. They're big snakes and they're big Godzillas, but bro, they are so smart. You got that was taking me out of it the whole time too. Because I could not fathom these. Maybe there's some actual stuff about that in real life where they're like, yeah, they were the smartest creatures to ever live. Who knows? But watching this, you're like, there's no way that they would be this smart, that they would know how to act like this.
I mean, how smart did they need to be though? all giant dinosaurs had to do, from what I can recall, from the knowledge I have, it just seems like dinosaurs, they just walked around and then they ate things.
Yeah.
And then they would reproduce and then they'd eat.
And then they'd eat. That's it.
They'd sleep, they'd walk around, and then they'd eat.
Yeah. Like animals do now.
Yeah, like what were they doing, you know?
I think the intelligence that I'm thinking of really does come from all of the stealth that all of the dinosaurs exhibited.
That is true. They were just the stealthiest animals alive.
Regardless of their size. Like the tiny chicken raptors, that could make sense. Of like, they're small anyway, so they might be harder to like keep an eye out for. But when you have T-Rexes and massive dinosaurs throughout that they're walking around, like, yeah, you're going to spot them a mile away. And then you're going to go, okay, I'm going to go the opposite direction. Easy.
The thing with I just feel like the best way to put this is any movie that deals with an attacking animal as the villain in the movie, you know, just shouldn't take itself serious at all.
Yeah.
Because the concept of I'm so afraid of like animals is not crazy.
Yeah.
Like you know, like that's probably why we never watched the movie Beast with the demon tiger.
It's not interesting.
It's just so hard. It's like at the end of the day, like, dude, it's an animal. Like, I mean, there are animals out there that, and granted, it's a dinosaur. It's a freaking dinosaur.
Yeah.
They obviously are like the apex predators. They don't care. They just, they attack. But like at some points, it's okay to like loosen up just slightly. We can have just a little bit of something here.
Yeah.
Know? Like we don't need to make them like they're like the most seductive, sneakily little, you know what I mean? Like just, it's a dinosaur. Let it just freaking run at it full speed and try to attack me.
Well, I think the reason that things like Jurassic Park or Jurassic World hit hard is because it's a normal human dealing with the apex predator, right? When the T-Rex shows up or the Megazord shows up in Jurassic World, and you can't kill it.
Yeah.
You can't kill it. But in this too, the guy who's dealing with them is a man from space with a gun that does deal damage to him. It's like, okay, so the stakes are gone, which I think now, thinking back on it, I think that's why they used stealth so much for this movie. Because Adam Driver was able to kill everything still with his big gun.
Which, I don't even know what kind of ammo that thing took. That was crazy.
So the stakes of the movie were gone, which is why they're like, well, if the dinosaurs get the upper hand, then maybe the stakes are not all gone. Maybe it becomes dangerous. But once he gets the gun back, the dinosaurs all die.
Yep. Gets the gun, he's ready to go.
Oh, but this time it's jammed somehow, the weird laser gun.
Yeah.
So he has to play a cool Among Us mini game on the side in order to unjam it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was cool.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I like the idea that every task I have later on in the future is an Among Us mini game in order to solve the issue I have in front of me.
Apparently, every device just has self-repair.
Yeah.
Except for my translator.
The translator.
Translator, no self-repair.
We forgot to put
the spaceship,
that in.
self-repair. The gun, self-repair. The other spaceship, self-repair.
The translator,
my wound, spray something in it, insta heal. My translator, nothing.
I got my med kit from the side. I just put the bandage over my hand and it healed the wound on my ab.
Huge.
Perfect. Done. Gone.
Crazy glue.
Yeah, let's get the banana meter in here.
I'm done reviewing it.
On that note.
I don't want to talk about it anymore. This movie is a stinker.
I feel like you are more disappointed about it because it was our first dinosaur movie and it was just so bad.
I was excited for it, man. I honestly, I think I gave it credit coming in thinking like, dude, it's going to suck, but like it's dinosaurs. How do you make that like terrible? Like
it can't be that bad.
Like that was the thing, man. Jurassic Park, they just throw dinosaurs at me and it looks dope. And then the dinosaurs fight and I'm hyped. That's so fun. The parts in Jurassic Park where the dinosaurs are hunting humans, they're okay, and then they get to the human and they just obliterate them because they're a dinosaur. I'm like, yes, this makes sense. This is hype. But my favorite parts of the Jurassic Park movies is when the dinosaurs fight each other.
Yep.
That's the coolest part. Like, that's the coolest part of the movie. Show me the dinosaurs fight each other. I don't care about the sexy dinosaur trying to seduce the little girl. Like, I don't care about that. Just eat that. And that's the other reason why we need more characters. I want to see somebody get destroyed by a dinosaur.
Kill the people.
I want to see somebody die by a dinosaur, or I want to see the dinosaur kill another dinosaur. Not little 5 chicken dinosaurs chewing up on a dog dinosaur and not even show it. Like that was my complaint. That's all I wanted. They could have kept the movie the exact same, but throw in one scene of 2 dinosaurs fighting, and I'd have been like, dude, this is awesome. This movie was sick.
Bro, I just can't get over the chicken raptors though, too.
That's all I expected out of this movie. Just give me some freaking dinosaurs fighting each other. Like you don't get to make a dinosaur movie and then not use Jurassic Park as the standard for a dinosaur movie.
Right.
Like, come on. You don't get to just try to create an original IP.
No.
Jurassic Park did it already for you. Just follow their recipes and you'll be fine.
Just follow it. Easy.
That's what look at superhero movies. Everybody just copies Marvel and it'll turn out fine or it doesn't. I don't know. It's whatever. But who's heard of a superhero movie that doesn't follow the Marvel standards, you know?
I think they forgot to tell Black Adam that.
Yeah, that is why it's terrible.
Yeah. I think they're waiting. He's biting him on the shoulder. No. No.
Cut it out.
No.
Banana.
No.
Hey, just bring the meter in and get out.
If you're going to do all of that, if you're going to fight each other and eat each other, go do that out back, okay?
All right.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Please
There
go out.
There they go.
Okay, good.
Oh, they didn't open your door. They just ran through it.
They just broke my screen door. Cool.
That's cool.
Great. All right.
You did tell them to be dinosaur.
I did, didn't I?
Take that out of their pay. We're going to have to deduct the health insurance.
Oh, man. Oh, they already lost the health insurance a long time ago. I gave it to them for like a day, and then they went wild, and then I took it away without telling them after.
That makes sense.
So they haven't been complaining about it for a while, which is good. All right. You want to go first or me?
All right. David, I've given it my piece. Just give me dinosaurs fighting. That's all I ask, man.
Yeah.
The dinosaurs don't even kill a single thing in this whole movie.
Other than the shell dinosaur.
Yeah, but like they didn't even show it,
They
bro.
don't show it.
I want to see some freaking dinosaurs fighting something. I don't want to see them get shot with a gun. I don't care about that, bro. That's just animal cruelty at that point.
You right.
Just give me something. The writing, I don't know. Just the whole movie was whack. I just feel like I was a real big letdown. I feel like they could have done something like even just... Dude, honestly, you could have had the same characters and still had the dinosaurs eat people. How about they just start eating people out of the cryo-freeze chambers? Like,
yeah.
What if they pulled up on the parents and they're just getting munched on? That'd be epic. That'd have been awesome. But these dinosaurs, all aggressive against each other because we see all their dead bones, never once do they fight.
No.
Never once. Except for when they, like, the 5 jump the 1. But that's it. Like, I want to see some dinosaurs fighting. Apparently, every single dinosaur in this earth is against the 2 humans.
Yeah, they all work together.
So, it's just a big stinker on that part.
Yeah.
The translator doesn't work. Lame. all of a sudden we can reach out to our coordinates, and my 2-year journey became 12 hours.
Oh, we didn't even go into that. There's more
they're
BS.
like, oh shoot, the asteroids. I can estimate, as your little tablet, I can estimate that in 12 hours this world would be destroyed. What did she say? I can't. Listen, sir, you're going to have to shut up that little girl. I cannot understand a word she is saying. I'm trying to analyze the trajectory of these asteroids and how long it's going to take until they blow up this Earth.
The goo is still on the translator. We'll deal with that later.
Could you get her out of here? I can't understand a word she's saying.
Let's deal with that another time, please. It's not important or related to the film.
They said 12 hours. We should have learned the 12 hours at the beginning of the movie, because the whole movie has passed. And in the last half hour, we see 12 hours. It's sun rose. We got 12 hours to live. Immediately dark.
Yep.
We get off this planet, sun rises again. That's 24 hours in my mind.
Yep.
But whatever. So for all that being said, I'm just going to throw a big 25 on it, slap it off.
25.
The only reason it gets 25 is I got to see some dinosaurs. It didn't do anything, but I got to see some dinosaurs. The 25 is for you, Adam Driver, and for the little girl. I'm sorry that you had to be a part of this project. You can keep the 25 for you. Everybody else, bad. 0 for the directors, 0 for the writers, which is the same people. I won't see. At the end of the movie, they showed it was like directed by these 2 people. And I just remember I said, wow, what a tag team duo. And the guy next to me laughed, and he said, I don't know if that's what I'd say. He's like, I don't know if that's what I'd call them. And I said, oh, trust me, that's the nicest thing I could say.
That's a perfect way to sum up this
movie,
bro. 25. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Am I thinking, is it worse than like DC Pets? I mean, I got to see some dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So that's why they 25.
I think with this
$90
movie,
million budget.
I think for this movie, the better, or the way to, as you just did, the way to come up with a score for it is to analyze what were the good things about it. There's very few. But I didn't want to leave the movie like I did with Don't Worry, Darling, or with Super League of Pets. So that's a good indicator to me. Why is that? It wasn't the acting. It wasn't the writing. It was... I truly do think that... how bad the CGI was with the dinosaurs, and then the introduction of the pervert dinosaurs. Truly... That was the moment I was like, I want to see this through. I want to see this awful movie through. Because that was so absurd. I feel like I've never seen something like that in a movie before. And then to have it just, the last 20 minutes, I laughed so hard during this. I wasn't supposed to. You can clearly tell. If you go see this movie, you can tell that is not the goal of this movie, for you to be laughing. You're supposed to be stressed. You're supposed to be feeling the intensity. You don't. You won't feel it at all. But just the last 20 minutes to end up being like, okay, we found the escape ship. It's time to go. And then the beginning of the asteroid party starts. The Mario Party starts. Okay, it hits the escape ship. Oh no, it fell, and now it's on its oriented the wrong way. That's a big issue. Well, it can't get worse from here, right? Well, from the shadows is a dinosaur, and then another, and then another, and the gun is outside of the escape vessel. Oh, and it's jammed. Oh, and I have to play the Among Us mini game for it now.
Yep. Oh, and he's ripping my whole ship apart.
He's ripping the ship apart. And just, oh, the Mario Party, the asteroids are continuing to shower down. And it's like, oh, how can this get any worse through this? I laughed so hard during the entire climax of this movie because all of it was absurd by that point. The stakes were supposed to be so high, and I just couldn't get over how ridiculous the whole thing was. Even with when all the dinosaurs are dead, the big dinosaurs that are trying to eat them, they're all dead. There's literally asteroids coming down, and Adam Driver and Ariana need a moment of like, we did it. Now we got to run back to the ship, but we did it. We could die right now, but let's pause and take that moment. So all that being said, I think this movie was hilarious, and that's the only good thing about it. And so I've sat on the number from the beginning of our episode. I think it's still relevant now. It's a 30 for me. because the only reason I will recommend it is it's the first movie we've seen in a while, I think, or at all for this podcast, where it was so bad I will tell people to see it because it was so bad.
No,
I only want people to see the back half of it, bro.
Waste their time.
I want them to go see the scene with the pervert dinosaurs.
Oh no!
And then the last one, bro. It's from there to the end. It's like, this is hilarious,
man. This, like, we were like deciding, do we see this? Or do we see Scream?
And honestly, everyone knows how much we love horror movies.
I've seen like the first 2 Screams, and I didn't really care to see this one. But I remember getting out, and I was like, dude, we should have seen Scream. I would have much rather seen that than this movie. I would have much rather seen any other movie.
I'm sorry, Ricky. I wholly disagree.
No, this movie was so bad.
It was horrible.
So bad.
But it's one where we don't get movies now where they're like so bad you're laughing at just how bad it is. That doesn't happen anymore. It's usually the spectrum is like if they're bad, they're usually like in a 50 range, and then like it's not like terrible because the quality of all the movies that come out now are like they're decent enough. If they're super bad, they're Don't Worry Darling or Super League of Pets, and they're just awful all around. But to have one in between there,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
It was. I mean, I laughed too, but like I just remember being like, dude, I want to go home.
I feel like you're underplaying how much you love the dinosaurs, Ricky, and how much of an impact it's had on you that the dinosaurs were presented poorly in this movie.
I like the dinosaurs. I was looking forward to seeing some dinosaur action. We didn't get much dinosaur action. Like they were on the screen a lot. Mm-hmm. They didn't do anything.
This was not an action movie. We got to see none of them.
Like thinking back at it, like even talking about the sexy dinosaurs, like even thinking about that scene, I can't think of one scene where they did anything other than just run at them.
Yep.
Like they never even get to like fighting. There's one scene in the whole movie where he fights a dinosaur and we don't even get to see it because the light just goes away because they couldn't. They were like, that's too much CGI work. We only got 2 years to work on this. Mm-hmm. Why would we show him fighting a velociraptor?
Mm-mm. Not worth it. Worth it.
Nah. I mean, look.
Oh man. Nah. Oh, that was a wild movie. Thank you so much for listening to Straight Dude Date Night. We do hope you enjoy. As always, if you want to support us, be sure to follow us on all of the social media and TikToks and YouTubes and all of that. And I am posting these episodes on YouTube as well now. So if you want to look up Straight Dude Date Night and subscribe to our YouTube channel and give it a like, I think that helps us. But in case people use that, there are views on it, which that's cool. Mm-hmm. And leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. That would be great. Or drop us a comment on any of the social media things we do. And with that, I think that's it. So, Ricky, I'm so sorry you had a bad movie experience, buddy. I'm so sorry that we had a bad dinosaur movie. It's the first dinosaur movie in a long time. And I'm so sorry to give us a bad dinosaur movie. I wanted to see some dinosaurs. I'm so sorry, buddy.
Fight.
I'm so sorry.
See some fighting dinosaurs. I
know, but maybe next year we'll get something like that.
We came off of. We've had a good streak of movies that were at least fun. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to go see Jurassic Park.
I'm sorry you had a bad time with this one.
Now I want to see some dinosaurs fight.
I know you do, buddy. But when I take you home, I'll get your Lego dinosaurs out and we can play with the.
I'm gonna go watch Rocky. I'm gonna go watch Rocky. I'm gonna go home and watch Rocky because at least there's some fighting there. Fighting's more entertaining in the 5 minutes of that movie than any of this stupid dinosaur movie.
Thank you so much for listening. We do hope you enjoy. Have a great week.
A dinosaur. I want to see Kylo Ren just use a lightsaber and just start cutting up some dinosaurs.
Bye-bye.
Stupid movie.